What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Swanky Disc Golf. Today we have another tier list. Another day, another tier list. We are going to be ranking our favorite understable discs. We're going to do understable discs today, and then tomorrow we're going to upload tier list ranking our favorite overstable discs. We're doing a little mini Discmas. That's right. We normally post 25 videos in December. We did not have time for that this year, to be completely honest.
Circumstances have changed.
We're doing 3 videos leading up to Christmas. We're going to rank all of our best favorite understable discs. Tomorrow we'll do overstable discs, and then we'll have one more video for you on Christmas. But in the name of understable discs, we're going to be doing a giveaway today. We're giving away this Mimic putter. This is a new company called Kraken Discs. We have a review of these. You can check them out. Really, really cool throwing putter, super nice plastic. That's going to be today's giveaway disc. All you have to do is comment down below and like the video and subscribe to the channel to enter today's giveaway, and we'll do another giveaway tomorrow and on Christmas Day to do a little mini Discmas series.
Merry Discmas,
Merry
everyone.
Discmas, everyone. Without any further ado, let's get into this. Like I said, these are our favorites. These are the ones we consider to be the best. We don't want to do an exhaustive list because that would take hours and hours and hours. So comment down below what your favorite is. What's your favorite understable driver? What did we miss? Or what's your favorite on the list? Let's get into it. I'll let you start off. The first disc is the Essence.
I'll start off with the Essence. There's not much to say if you've watched the channel for 5 seconds. If you've watched for 5 years, it's an Insta S tier. Honestly, it's starting to become, it's not that old a disc, but is it not a little nostalgic at this point? Like the Essence
nostalgic.
is like,
For us anyways.
OG, swanky, mystery boxes, like back when Discmania was first really doing those, and I got that blacked out Essence from like, I don't know if it was 2020
It's
or
like a Lux Essence or
yeah,
something.
it was like a Lux Essence. That thing is still in my bag, one of the oldest standing discs in my bag. So yeah, one of the first videos on the channel, probably way back, but yeah, the Essence is a mainstay, and it will never leave the bag.
Yeah, it's tough for me because I've thrown some. I actually did a review of the Essence recently, and the one that I purchased that was just a Neo Essence and straight out of the bag, I compared it to another disc that had the same flight numbers. The Essence was straight up overstable, like not even.
Yeah, honestly, the Neo Essences are not that understable. It is true. Got to get yourself a nice Lux
The mold
one.
does feel super nice. I think 8 speeds are just kind of underrated. 8 speeds feel so good.
Dude, 8 speeds are awesome.
Up next, sticking in Discmania is the DD. And this is a really sweet disc. I think this is, I'm going to put it in A tier. It's not quite nostalgic enough yet for it to be S tier.
It's not swanky yet.
But it is one of my favorite distance drivers as a noodle arm and for other noodle arms. And for pros, they're throwing them as pretty consistent roller discs. But for somebody who can only throw like 350 feet, you get a full, beautiful flight out of this. It's awesome. Absolutely love it. The rim, 11 speeds, are also, those like... I feel like the numbers you don't see as often are like 8 speeds. 11 speeds are really popular now, I guess, and like the Wraith
now,
is super
way
popular.
more than they were, though.
Yeah, but 11 speed, like every company has several 11 speeds now. But I don't know, maybe they're not underrated anymore, but I love 11 speed rims. There you go.
It deserves an A tier. It's a great disc.
I don't know if we'll have many not A tier discs today.
Is this the Rollo?
This is the Rollo.
Okay, I don't actually know the numbers on the Rollo. I
believe the turn is like -4-1 or
is
something
it a
like that.
5-speed?
It's a 5-speed.
It's a 5-speed. That's what I thought.
It is a 5, 6, -4-1, something like that. Can't remember.
This disc is super fun. I would never bag it. I know there's a lot of people out there. Okay. I know there's a lot of people out there. Luke
we competed
included,
with
apparently.
Robbie C to see who got to bag it because it was so good.
Did you win?
No.
Oh. I'm going to put it in B. We're just going down the list here.
Wild.
I think it's just, it's kind of, what can I say about it? It's kind of like, it's very niche. You know, if you're going to bag it, it means you just are having so much fun with it. I don't think it's really a disc that you're throwing out there like.
Believe it or not, there's a lot of people who just play disc golf for fun.
Okay, I have this in my bag for fun, like the Spore. I'm never throwing the Spore for like a real shot, but it's in my bag because it must be in my bag. I need it. The Rollo is that for some people. It's not that for me, but B tier. B tier.
B tier. That's acceptable, I guess. I love the Rollo. It's so fun, and it's fairly usable. I feel like
it's Luke's favorite Innova disc.
It's probably my genuinely.
Genuinely.
Up next, this is the Michigan Thrasher from Discraft, and so like I said, we don't have. This is not an exhaustive list. There's obviously the Hades is basically the same as the Thrasher. There's a ton of understable distance drivers out there. We put the Thrasher on here to kind of represent those from Discraft. You have the Avenger SS, the Heat. We don't have those on the list because we just don't have time for that. But
we can't do them all.
Let us know if you want us to do like a 3-hour-long tier list where we rank every disc in existence. That would be awesome, right?
That would be the biggest tier list.
That would be crazy. But for now, we have the Michigan Thrasher is one of our favorites. We also do really like the Hades, but I think the Michigan Thrasher, or just any Thrasher, is going to be cheaper than a Hades, more accessible, basically the same thing. I really like the Thrasher. I'm going to put it also in B tier because it doesn't necessarily do anything special. It's just an understable 12-speed. But it's a really good understable 12-speed. I love the mold. Love how much distance, again, that you can get out of it as an amateur disc golfer. Really cool disc. And like I said, cheaper and more accessible than the Hades. So there you go.
That's true. We have to think about our wallets when we're ranking
Wide
these
variety
lists.
of plastics. It's great. Can't go wrong with the Thrasher.
Listen, if we were to make a tier list of all discs, the B tier would be so big.
Oh, yeah, the B tier would be basically everything.
Almost everything.
The S tier is just our personal favorites, which I forgot to label them. I always forget to label them. But for S, we typically say Swanky tier. I mean, we don't have to label all of these. Swanky.
Let's just let everyone know.
And then D is dog toy. That's really it.
Swanky and dog toy. Those are the important ones.
Yeah.
All right.
This is the Innova It.
The Innova It. Yeah. So the It is fun. It's a 7-speed. It is
7.6 -2.1.
Yeah. Heavy glide. And it's got that soft,
soft like rounded rim.
Rounded underneath, like what is it? The shoulder.
I guess.
I'm a little bit out of practice on my disc terminology. I think it's the shoulder, which you would describe the rounded part. The cookie and the soda are like this. Yeah. But I do like that with the It. I feel like
they've been doing that a lot lately with like the Racer. I think kind of has it. I know the Gorgon has it. Like a little more rounded.
People loved it with Clash, so of course it was going to get kind of stolen and or implemented into some other lines. The It to me, this is I'm gonna get your treatment today.
Everybody thinks I hate Innova.
Everyone's going to think I hate Innova, but the It is like a good disc. It's just not doing anything crazy special for me. It was a late release from Innova, so if you know, Innova's got a huge lineup, and the It is one of the more recent releases, and it just doesn't like make too much sense to me. Like the Leopard is there as a 6-speed version
of this Innova
disc. Like, why just make more premium Leopards in it? But, like, I don't see how this is too different from the Leopard, in my opinion. I'm a Leopard truther.
Interesting. So. I should have I made the tier list, so they're technically my favorites, and Reed's going to get to rank some of them. I really like the It, but the only Leopards I have experience with are DX ones, and I don't like the DX ones at all. So I put the
Leopard and Leopard 3 people, you know.
Up next is the Grym, but I'm going to switch it so Reed can do the Grym because I don't throw the Grym. Reed throws the Grym. This is going to be the Discraft. What did I put in here?
That looks like
Avenger SS. I did include the Avenger SS on this list. I lied. The Avenger SS is a fantastic disc. I might even put it in A tier because I think it's one of the better beginner discs that you can buy. They're just so understable. And it's pretty consistent that you can get their base plastic and it's going to be super, super understable. You can get their premium plastic and it's going to be just mostly understable. And I think that's actually really good for beginners. The X line Avenger SS is probably one of the most thrown beginner distance drivers out there because of those classic Discraft starter packs, the ones that like come with 4 discs and a little shoulder bag. That was one of my first ever disc golf purchases, and I think a lot of people are like, "Wow, 4 discs and a bag! I'm gonna be such a baller out there on the course."
With my X line,
the Avenger SS is also just a really good disc if you buy it in a premium plastic. So I think it's one of the best beginner discs out there.
Very good. The
10 speed, right?
Yeah, 10 speed.
Yeah, so that's cool.
The Avenger SS is like the Essence in that if you get the wrong one in an ESP plastic, it's low-key a Firebird.
It's like it'll just be super unstable.
You really got to beat them in sometimes.
I remember getting one of my first S flights ever out of like an X line Avenger SS and feeling so good about myself.
I remember buying an Avenger SS recently and just looping it out there thinking it was going to do Avenger SS stuff, and it just goes straight OB on 10. All right.
Yeah.
Grym.
Grym.
Kastaplast. One of my favorite forehand discs. Really good for like touch forehand shots in the woods, which we play a lot in the woods, so we use things like the Grym for like flipping up to flat on a forehand and then rolling to the left. And I think of hole 8 at Little Mulberry Park, always throwing the Grym, getting a ton of turn out of it, and then at the last minute it kind of fights back out of it. I rank it here, in my opinion. Wait. It's a little A tier. I'm going to move it up. It's going to be like that. That's my opinion. I think it's almost Swanky, but I'm the only Swanky member that throws it, I think. Absolutely. Nick might actually throw the Grym. Anyway, Grym's an awesome disc for forehand and backhand, but I mostly throw it forehand. It's just...
Is it a 12 speed?
It is 13 speed.
13 speed,
but I think of it as an 11 speed because the rim size is so 11 speed.
Over in Europe, you guys are just a little bit weird about the speeds. I don't know what goes on.
Yeah, it's an 11 speed, but that's metric.
That's true. I'm just kidding. Maybe we're weird about the speeds, but the Grym is awesome. Never bagged it, but I have thrown it. Up next is the MVP uplink. I've thrown it a decent amount. Also never bagged it. I don't love the uplink. I don't dislike the uplink. I think it's a good disc. I would rather throw the Rollo because I really like the Rollo.
Fair enough.
I'm going to put it in B tier because it's a really good disc, but there's plenty of other discs I would rather throw.
The problem with MVP Axiom mid-ranges is they got super granular. Like, you can basically pick whatever micro stability you want in an MVP Axiom mid-range. From the reactor to the hex to the detour to the uplink to the paradox, it's so granular, which brings us to our next disc, the paradox, which is on the far right end of this spectrum of like understability. Like, this is so understable and feels so good in the hand. I have bagged it before. It becomes that thing that you think you'll use in the woods, and then you really kind of don't because it is so understable. It's a little lobsterish.
Yeah, I like the lobster too. I should have put the lobster on here.
It's a little lobsterish. It's more understable, I think, than the peace
Probably
train.
Is a lobster.
It might be a lobster. I'm going to put it here.
With an overmold.
It's kind of doing some special things that I think with the uplink, I think it's fair. Like, you can find a lot of discs doing what the uplink does. The paradox is a little bit unique in its wing shape combined with its stability. I think it's really awesome.
I also realize I don't really bag, this is just a personal thing, I don't really bag many understable putters or mid-ranges at all. I don't really start bagging understable discs until they're fairway drivers. I don't know why that is. Like, I don't have a Buzz SS anymore. I'm trying to think. I don't know. Maybe I have a lobster.
You bag a peace train anymore?
I usually have a peace train or a lobster, and I love them, but I rarely ever throw them. And I think it goes back to, like, very often I'm just throwing a forehand zone. There's not too many, like, in my personal life. I don't know why. Maybe it's just a wooded course. I don't see myself using a super understable mid-range super often. It's either, like, forehand zone or flippy fairway driver if it's really far. But I
use discs like the paradox or the peace train or the lobster or whatever to throw hyzer flip turnovers in the woods, which are shots that, like, the forehand is just a little different.
Okay, up next, speaking of understable fairway drivers, although I think they technically classify this as a distance driver, it's a 9-speed Axium Insanity. I love the Insanity. It's one of the few Axiom MVP, like, overmold drivers that I actually like. Really like it. I really want to try the Gateway Odyssey that just came out. recently, Understable 8-speed, that has an overmold. Want to try that a lot. But the Insanity is super good. I'm going to put it above the Avenger SS. It's such a cool disc. It's more understable than the numbers suggest. And I think that the numbers are somewhere along the lines of -2.1, 9.5, -2.1, 9.6, -2.1.
Yeah, something like that. 9.5,
way more understable than that.
I think.
But it's more understable than the flight numbers suggest, for sure.
I would agree. The Insanity, great spot. That's probably exactly where I put it. All right. I've got the Comet from Discraft. So just when everyone has typed in that I'm a generational Innova hater, we're putting the Comet. I'm sorry, Michael Johansson.
Dog toy.
The Comet is like, it's like, it feels so bad in my hand. It is like kryptonite in my hand. I can't hold it.
It's got a weird rim.
I don't like it.
Doesn't it have a bead?
It's got this,
Or
like,
does it not have
it's
a
one
bead?
of those where maybe you call it a bead, but in my opinion, the wing kind of spikes down. It's less of a bead and more of like a spike. I do not like it. There's lots of mid-ranges that do this. It's not the only one, but it is my least favorite.
Yeah.
So there you have it.
No, I agree. But like the Comet and the Meteor are just the worst. I don't like either of those.
The
discs.
Meteor feels totally different, but yeah, it is.
But the Meteor also is like one of the most shallow discs I've ever felt.
It is,
and it's
yeah.
really, I feel the same about the Comet. It's super shallow and it's got a weird rim. Like the X-Line Comet is possibly one of the weirdest, most awful understable mid-ranges ever. I put it in there though because it's fairly popular. There's a lot of people that really like it. Discraft has just so many understable mid-ranges that I don't know what to put on the list, honestly. The Archer's really good. The Buzz SS is probably our favorite. It's not crazy understable, though, like these ones are. The Comet and the Meteor are more understable. Up next is the Hatchet, and the Westside Hatchet is awesome.
We love it.
I also think this is a 9-speed. I'm sorry, I don't have the numbers handy.
I think it's a 9-speed.
It's a 9-speed with a -2 turn. And I think I'm going to put it in S tier.
Whoa, that is a shock to me.
This is a shock to everyone.
That's a shock to the
But
system.
I don't even bag it anymore, but it was one of my first distance drivers ever.
Dear.
And it's so good. It's swanky. I freaking love this disc. It's a roller disc if you have a really huge arm speed, but it's so cool. Love this disc. Swanky tier.
I mean, fair enough. I threw one
You
of
can also
my
get them
favorite.
for like $8.
That's true. I threw one of my favorite non-ace shots of my life with a Hatchet. This is like a crazy tight roller.
It's a cool disc.
So fun. Okay, the Svea. Again, people are going to assume it's Kastaplast, so Reed's going to rank it high. Well, you're half right. I'm going to put it in B, and I'll explain. I think that for Kastaplast people, the Svea coming out was like the sun breaking through the clouds because it was finally like a normal,
Yeah,
a
for real.
normal mid-range for this lineup. The Goat you really had to love. It flies really great, but you had to love the hand feel. And then the Cax was a little bit like faster than your average mid. The Svea is that 5-speed neutral flyer. Everybody loves the Svea. It's just not anything unique in the market. It's just a disc that Kastaplast had to eventually release. They had to have something like this, but every company has something like this. It just happens to be one of the better ones because it is in K1 plastic. So
There you
we're
go.
going to put it above the Rollo, much to Luke's chagrin.
Yeah, I think the Rollos should be way higher on the list, but it's okay. Up next is
You
the
gave it to
Clash
me.
Soda, and the soda is incredible. Clash Discs plastic is just phenomenal. Manufactured out of Finland. Shout out. And
Shout out the
they're
metric
so
system.
good. They're so good. It's going to be an A tier disc. I'm going to put it above the Grym.
Yeah.
Because it's
Good
just
luck.
so good. The hand feels super unique. It's got that rounded rim in a much, I will say it's much more dramatically different than what Innova has been trying to do with the rounded rims. I don't know if if they got their inspiration from Clash discs, because I feel like a lot of people were like Boreum and Clash discs. They were like, we haven't seen these rounded rims before, but Innova has not quite done it for me. Innova's rounded rims are nice still. I like the It, but they're much fatter. Like the Soda has a kind of rounded, subtle rim.
Yes.
Like especially the Gorgon, that rim is fat with a capital PH.
With a capital PH.
And this one
thick.
is a much more, the cookie and the soda, much more subtle.
Yep. I like that. I'd have put it there, maybe even S tier, even though I don't know if you bag it anymore.
I don't know if I do either.
The Diaminde, the diamond from Lat 64. This is like a beginner's dream disc.
Yep.
They make them
growing
in lightweights.
in popularity massively.
Yeah, this is in all of our beginner top distance drivers lists because everyone loves the diamond so much. This is not a beginner's list. This is an understable disc list.
That's true.
So, with that in mind, I don't know if I can do higher than B.
Wow.
Is this a hot take for me to put it right there?
Maybe. I agree with what you're saying, though. It's one of my most recommended discs to beginners.
You're always going to shout it out for
The main reason I shout it out for beginners is because you can find it in lightweight and cheap plastic.
Yes.
And it's a great disc. It's a great mold. But I've never thought to myself, I really need to buy a premium plastic diamond and put it in my bag.
Yeah, it's one of those that I don't know how long it lives in your bag. If you start out with it, I'm not sure how long it stays there.
It's very, very understable.
It's so
unstable. Very, very understable.
If this was just a how unstable is it
Which
list.
the Rollo is very, very unstable. But it being a mid-range, I feel like you can it's just touchy. You can just throw it with basically no power at all and get a full flight out of it. The diamond, you have to put a little bit of power on it, and if it's a little too much power, it's a roller.
Instant roller.
But you have to put a tiny bit of power on it because it's a driver for it to get a full flight. The difference between full flight and total roller it's difficult. It's difficult to throw.
So yeah, B tier.
B tier. The last one is the Mamba. And it's unfortunate this is the only Innova disc I got. I would have put the Rollo and the It way higher. And the Mamba has a cult following, truly. It truly cool disc. It's got a -4 turn, or even more than that. -5 turn, and that's just not true. That's just not true.
I've never thrown one that actually did that.
I've never thrown one like that before. Maybe
it's a 12 speed though, isn't it? It's super fast.
It is super fast. But I mean, I've thrown Thrashers that felt similar to a Mamba, and that's just not right.
Yeah.
And the Thrasher's really understable, but it's not -5. The -5 to me is a lie. And maybe
for that reason,
maybe I'm wrong. But no, I'm gonna put it in high B tier because it is
nice.
a lot. I'm not gonna put it in. It's a really good mold. I think if it had the same numbers as the Thrasher, I might even put it higher because I wouldn't feel like I'm being lied to. But
enough.
the Thrasher, for me, a kind of noodle arm amateur, I get a big full flight out of it. And the Mamba is kind of similar, maybe slightly more understable, but it's not for me, -5 feels like it's barely throwable. The Rollo is -4, which it's a mid-range, but still, you rip on a Mamba. I guess it depends on what plastic. The only ones I've ever thrown were Star plastic, and they just weren't quite -5 understability. Really good discs, though. I'm sure in DX plastic, they're -5. I imagine they turn like crazy.
Yeah, I just wonder. I wonder if -5 is even possible.
I know.
So, it might just be marketing.
Yeah, might just be marketing. But that's the list, guys. Let us know in the comments what you think, and also be sure to comment to win this disc for today. And be sure to comment down below that Reed is an Innova hater. Crazy.
Generational.
Thank you guys for watching. See you tomorrow for overstable discs. Stay swanky.
Stay swanky.